Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi al-kareem Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'da. See, ma'am, Dr. Wazir Ali, and we are broadcasting, or we are streaming live from the beautiful city of Houston, Texas, a place that Allah has made very productive for the life of Muslim community, not just the community associated with the leadership of Imam Wada, but the whole Muslim Ummah. Houston is a place that boasts over 100 masajid. Houston is a place that has, let me count them, Masjid WD Muhammad, Masjid Ta'alim, Masjid al-Quran, Fifth Ward Islamic Center, Ibrahim Islamic Center, New Africa Islamic Center for Human Development. Houston has 6 masjids under the that have spawned, that has grown out of the leadership of Imam Warathuddin Muhammad, and then Masjid Tawheed. Imam Qasim Khan was a member of the Nation of Islam. So in a way, there's 7 masjids that came from that tradition in Houston. Houston is a burgeoning, exciting place. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. We have 2 masajid that are built from the ground up, both on West African architecture. We have one community center that was built from the ground up, named Imam Qasim Ahmed Community Center, next door to Masjid Ta'alim Muhammad. And we are on the precipice of building our second community center from the ground up, and that is the Ibrahim Kamaluddin Community Center. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. We have a beautiful playground next to the masjid now. That's an actual playground. It's not like a something we just threw together, like a bunch of brothers got together and threw a play set together. No, we ordered a commercial grade professional PlayStation for the masjid, and we also installed our swings. It has its own area, and in addition to that, 3 properties around the city of Houston. One in the east side of town, one right up the street from the masjid, and one in Sunnyside. So we are progressing, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, and we are preparing to turn the leadership over to the generation that's on the program today. This is our young adult leadership ta'aleem. You can't see my video because I'm having technical difficulties, and I hope that my sound isn't pixelated. But alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, we are very excited to have Kareeb Ahmed, Khalil Ahmed, and Fatima Ali with us today as we begin a discussion on a book. There's a book that my father wrote, Fatima's grandfather, Imam Otis Kaleem Ali, who was a da'i. He was a caller to Islam. He was an imam, and he was a long-term pioneer for Islam in America. He had a series of pamphlets that he called yardsticks for our survival in dangerous cultural environments. Yardsticks for our survival in dangerous cultural environments. And from that, I could see he was a visionary because, and I believe this whole idea came out of the genesis of the Nation of Islam before we came to Universal Islam. But this idea that we are all in dangerous cultural environments, all of us, we live in a space of dangerous cultural environments, and that we have to have a system
Did he cut out?
Uh-oh, I think we may have lost his audio. I was worried that it was just on my side. Let me see.
Yeah.
It looks like he's trying to pop back in, but he's having some technical difficulties. So if he comes back in, we'll let him finish the setup and the question. But for it sounded like he was talking about the challenges that come with navigating challenging cultural environments. And for every generation, there are different cultural challenges that we have to encounter. Our parents challenged their own cultural challenges that they had to learn to navigate around. There were activities that their generation was involved in, or that they wanted to take part in, that they had to circumvent, and they had to find a way to create communities of their own that supported the lifestyle that they wanted to live in, and that they wanted to establish robust life in. So I think something that would be valuable for us to talk about today would be what are some of the cultural challenges that we've encountered either through our own experiences, or in academia, or in in academia or in the professional world. What are some of the challenges that we've encountered or that we're encountering? And what are some of the things we can start doing as young adults to create that culture where we as young Muslims can find support in establishing a lifestyle that lives up to the ideals that we've set for ourselves, inshallah?
Well, one of the challenges that we face now, is like more access to information. We have so much power in our hands, so much knowledge in our hands, just with our phones and everything. And older generations didn't really have that. They was morally social. They could be more social around them. Some of the challenges that we face being in culture is just being online too much. One of those that can cause like mental health, people thinking you're being depressed, but you're just trying to be online playing a video game or something like that. But one of those things that more have helped that, and those challenges that we're facing now, like always being on our phone too long, or let's say if you don't want to go out and play or something like that, we're usually in the game or doing something that's online that we talk to our friends through. And a lot of challenges that we face that come in with our parents, that they don't even understand what's really going on. They think they're just being lazy, but really we're just trying to release stress or something like that, something along those lines. But one of the ways that we can probably focus our attention over there so we can do more activities is just being more open to what you're doing. If you like invade their privacy, maybe they'll get off the game and do something else. But for me, what challenges that we're facing today, I believe having more of a community, things like this, and bringing them closer together, bring everybody closer together, and trying to more socialize than be on their phones all the time. And that's one of them, if that's one.
That makes sense. Go ahead.
One thing, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
One thing that has been influence on culture, I feel like, is the music. And the music nowadays, it has so many words and streaming from a little line, or not even wireless now. You got to just hang in your ear, and they're saying all kind of words in your ear all day long. And it's influencing the language and the words that I come across from the younger generation of not so high language, high intellect within it. It's just repetitive words from the music that they've been hearing. So it's influencing the language, the intellect, the way we speak to each other, the way that they communicate. So within the young community, I know music is listened to a lot, and we fuel ourselves with words. Words make people, and if you feeling yourself with negativity words all day, then that's going to make the construct your language of how you talk on a daily basis. So I feel like a solution to that would be, you can't just take music out of some people's life. They just been listening to it every day, but start making conscious movements of listening to less. Try to replace it with something that's positive, a positive message, or something that fuels their mind with something, a food for thought, and not starve it and give it junk food. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that's a big thing with influencing the youth with the music, and there's all kind of music out here to lower your communication skills with the younger generation.
Mm.
But like what Creed is saying, I can understand personally because I listen to a lot of different artists, and my brother calls me out on it, saying like, "Yeah, you sound just like the guy you listen to all the time." And I play it off like it's funny and it's whatever, but yeah, I understand what he's talking about. Music is definitely a big influence of our lives, and that's another thing. Usually, back in the day, they had censored music. Like they never you couldn't even put a song on the radio if it had a cuss word in it. Like, yeah, that's bad, and that's something that's affecting us in real life now because there's not enough censorship in this world, and there's not enough censorship that we're dealing with now. More of like what's allowed to be broadcast to millions and what's not to be. And maybe we got more freedom in that and more freedom, but all that for everyone to be influenced in all around the world in that same exact way makes us to be totally different than the previous generation. It makes the other previous generation not want to understand us. They don't see like the meaning behind it. And that's one thing. There's like a blockage because it's not like, oh yeah, there's old heads or whatever, but there's like a blockage of understanding between, and then this helps just talking about it and how we can solve those different issues. Really just talking about it and applying it to your lives, applying it to people that you associate with personally, to your families, either it's your sons or daughters or anything like that. Having these conversations of them, like, what's going on? How can you explain it to me? Is really important. And I think that's a good solution of just creating better cultural designs, because it starts within families. It starts within the community. It doesn't start just with like one person saying, oh, I want to change everything. It has to start with a group of people so we can all have a say and all have power to change what we need to change.
Definitely. And as you guys are talking about music and the internet and social media and just how all of those things have really impacted and shaped the experience of, I think we're in the younger millennial / early Gen Z type of generation group. It's really shaped that experience, especially social media, which sounds like such a buzzword, but it's just really interesting to see how the younger Gen Z group is really interacting with each other on social media, seeing themselves through social media. When you read about the kind of impact that social media has on younger kids and how some people over the pandemic are developing certain types of body dysmorphia based on how they see themselves in real life versus how they see themselves through a filter or on a computer screen. It's just really interesting. So I think you're really right, Khalil, in saying that the first part of that is really getting curious about what is the younger generation, or what are your kids, if you're in a family, what are they experiencing on social media or online? How are they seeing the world through those outlets? And what are they seeing through those outlets? Because on social media, it's all unfiltered, unless you have a parent on there filtering it for you. So and half of the time, I'm not sure if the parents really know how to go on and filter those things. So it definitely starts with getting curious and understanding what kids are really being exposed to, so that you can know how to advocate for them, and so that we can better understand the challenges that we're going through as young adults, and how we can support each other and like teenagers and those under us as they grow up as well. I think another question that would be good to think about is that oftentimes when we're navigating a culture, that culture really defines how your peers expect you to behave. And in some of the MUSLIMAH Nights conversations we've been having, we've talked about peer pressure and how to navigate peer pressure, not only in like academia, but also in the workplace. So what are some of what kind of peer pressure have you guys encountered either in high school, college, the workplace? What kind of peer pressure have you encountered, or colleague pressure? What does that look like? And how did you navigate it while still trying to stay true to the lifestyle that you wanted to establish for yourself as a young Muslim?
Being for me, peer pressure, they comes in all different forms. Like if I get invited to a party, you're expected, to like drink or smoke or weed or anything like that. It was really just being a Muslim. It changes how you perceive other people. Like it gives you more knowledge than just going with the flow. Having that, how I navigate in those situations, like for example, someone after a workout, not too recently, they asked me, "You want to have a smoke session in the car?" I was like, I said, "No, I'm fine," and I went home. But that was just me being Muslim. Having that, not a lot of people are like raised like that. So in those different situations, how you handle them, you just got to think to yourself, "This really for me is just what I really want. Am I not just doing it just to seem cool around with them?" Which that goes into effect as well. Like it's what you practically are thinking. But really, how to really deal with peer pressure is just don't put yourself in those situations. Go find where people are like-minded like you, like going in the Masjid and reading reading the Quran, and just sitting down, making your prayers, having extra prayers. That's how you really deviate from all those situations. Just focusing your mind, having more God consciousness. And that's what I have to say. Like there's no really peer pressure. It's really just it's your choice, but it's also the situation you put yourself in. And that's what I have to say about it.
And peer pressure, going by what he was saying, is the environment that you set yourself up in for. And if you're in a smoking environment, which you going to probably end up being peer pressure to do it. If you go over there in the environment, probably going to be peer pressure to do it. So, as in the Quran said, don't go near that tree. You know what I mean? Don't go near that environment. Don't go near a place where you can fall into being susceptible to something that that's not good for you. So I feel like if you can't do that immediately, you know what I mean, then at least step somewhere, not even like just step somewhere aside and let them know, that's your friend. I'm good, like Khalil, and just step aside somewhere. But there's been situations. I'm 28, Khalil's 18, so that's 10-year difference of peer pressure and everything that comes along with it. Mistakes have been made during my past, but alhamdulillah, I was meant to learn from them, and the most merciful ask for forgiveness. But it's challenging. It can be challenging if you don't have nobody to talk to, and for Khalil, he has 8 other brothers and everything to tell him about peer pressure situations and all kind of things to tell you about all kind of different things that he can learn from other people. So not everybody has that benefit to learn from elders or parents or somebody that's in there to even let them know, because some people need a shoulder to lean on. Some people need to talk to somebody or to go through things, because some teenagers go through things on themselves and they don't feel like they can reach out to nobody and relate those peer pressure situations to. So just being able to be available to talk to somebody. And that's what I like to be with Khalil, being available to, if he needs something to talk about, I could talk to him about it. And, vice versa, if I need to tell him something, because ain't nobody too old to learn from somebody else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that's huge. First, acknowledging, like, I think it's amazing that you guys have such a rich family and that you guys are really able to turn to each other for that support for if there's peer pressure. And then also acknowledging that for those who maybe are like a single child or only have like one brother or sister, like there are members and there are brothers and sisters who are your age, a little bit older, a little bit younger in the community who you can turn to for that support about like, how do I navigate peer pressure? What do I need to do to prepare for college and navigating college, or just getting through high school, starting your new job? So just knowing that there are young adults in the community who you can reach out to if you don't have those siblings around your age to reach out to, or a lot of Muslim friends. When I think about peer pressure and navigating it, it's so environment dependent. Like, for example, when I was in high school, we had a very like multicultural, multi-ethnic, and like interfaith high school. So, there was the Christian club, the Jewish club, the interfaith club, and it was really easy to find either your people or find people who are open-minded enough that you guys had conversations about your differences while still respecting them. In college, it was a very different environment, and not necessarily not a bad environment, but the college culture is very different. A lot of times when I talk to people who maybe came from religious communities and went off to a more liberal college, sometimes they'll mention that it's hard to find that religious community there, or hard to find those who want to have the same lifestyle as they do. So I know in college, I think in my first year or so, I hung out a lot with like some of the Christian students on campus, because we had some similar lifestyle patterns that we had. I chose a substance-free dorm so that I wouldn't have to deal with parties, and it was really awesome that my college had that option. And then as I went further through college, there were some Muslim students who came to the college. So then we really started building up the Muslim student union that was up there, the Colby Muslim Society. But if I'd had a chance to talk to some fellow Muslim students before applying, I would have loved to really, or if I could jump back and give myself advice, I would say when you're looking at different colleges or looking at different environments, see if they have space that's established there for you. Because when I was looking at colleges, I didn't start by looking to see like, oh, what's their Muslim society or Muslim student union like? If that had been on my mind, I think I might have just, that would have helped with my evaluating the college from a holistic perspective. Because, you're always told, look at the academic programs, the research opportunities, all that stuff. And it's so important that you can see your academic future there. But also it's so important to make sure that there's at least a pocket of community there where you can find support as well. Let me see. I think that I can't think of another question that we might be able to wrap up on without going too deep. But if you have, do you guys have any closing thoughts about navigating peer pressure, navigating different cultural environments, or things that you think would be valuable to discuss next time? when we jump into maybe a more fleshed out version of this discussion?
I'm actually good. I feel like we dwelled into the topic pretty
just
good, but
pretty much surround yourself with like-minded people that, like you said, you want to be able to, put you in situations that you're comfortable with, because they say your friends can represent you sometimes, the people you surround yourself with. So you want to be around good holistic people that uh that have good values, good morals, and people that you feel will put you in good situations, and that want the best for you. Because I have friends that around people that they shouldn't be around.
Mm,
and and that can be your downfall just by the people you're around with, and not and that can rub off on you, and you become that. So uh be right. Yeah, he says like, oh well, that's my friend. Well, you got to try to help your friend and try to remind them, and tell them about if they're not doing so well, what I mean. Still not just cut them off, what I mean, but
mm,
remind them and try to let them know. But at the same time, if they keep on putting you in environments and situations, then you're gonna be like, hey, I gotta go to the mosque, or I gotta do this. I can't go to the club. I can't go to the bar. I can't, you know what I mean? And
mm.
and stuff like that, to make sure you stay navigated in the right direction.
Right. And if I were to add on that, I would say definitely either surround yourself with folks who want to have a similar lifestyle as you, or surround yourself with folks who will support you in your pursuits, even if they don't necessarily want the same thing that you want. Like if you have a group of buddies and you all do different activities, but you respect each other's differences and you're not trying to pressure someone into doing something they want, I think that's awesome too. And then secondly, if you find yourself in an environment or a friend group or like a situation where you feel pressured to do something that you don't want to do, and you notice that even the culture of your little group, your friend group, is changing, it's okay to make that transition into a new social space. It can be a fast transition, a slow transition. It can be scary, I think, definitely if you're in high school or maybe even in college, depending on where you're at. But it can be scary to make that transition since, humans are social creatures. But Allah will guide you to an environment that's more suitable for your development, inshallah. So definitely prioritize the person and the morals and the values that you want to live in, and don't make compromises on that for someone else's benefit. Because when you make a compromise that you don't want to make to benefit someone else, I think that's usually where you start to feel regret in those decisions that you've made.
Yeah, I actually kind of isolated myself between my friend group in high school, maybe because of COVID, or maybe because I don't like playing video games as much as I used to, but they still be on it every day and things like that. And I'm focusing on working and everything like that. So, and isolating myself kind of made me out of it with peer pressure or anything like that. So, keep it to yourself is another way to just not not be in any other situation. Just keep it to yourself, doing what you do, and doing what you need to do. Focus on yourself, bettering yourself, and how you can. But that's
Well,
just my take on it.
it says to change the condition of a people, you got to first start within yourself. So sometimes you need to isolate yourself just to reflect on yourself, to get back into the world of changing other and trying to help other people.
Right. Take those idle hands and put them into doing some good work.
Right.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you guys both for coming onto the panel today. Thanks to Dr. Imam Wazir Ali for starting off to host. He had some technical difficulties, but we're always so thankful for the way he so thoughtfully sets up the conversations. And thank you so much to our StreamYard team for making this possible, and to the audience for viewing. And we hope you all found this program to be beneficial, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum. Please stay tuned for announcements. Our Eid al-Adha celebration is planned for Tuesday, July 20th, outdoors on the grounds of Masjid Muhammad, rain or shine. The takbirs will start at 9 a.m., followed by Salat at 9:30. So please arrive early in order to ensure that you have a spot under the tent. We'll have tents for prayer as well as our meal. Immediately following the Eid Salat and Khutbah, we will enjoy a wonderful barbecue and fish lunch, as well as activities for the entire family. We'll have Quranic recitation, singles and married couples games. So those young people who were just you're just listening to, you'll have an opportunity to meet them. Inshallah, they'll help us participate in some of the games that we'll have that afternoon. We'll have vendors on hand if you need to pick up some last minute Eid gifts. We'll have children's gifts and crafts. The crafts will be to go, but we'll have gifts that we'll be giving out to all of the children, and much, much more. Ensure that you bring your mask and your prayer rug, as we will still be exercising social distancing, and your mask will be required to enter the masjid facility. If possible, we're asking believers to bring bottled water and non-carbonated drinks with them to share with the ummah. So, inshallah, we will see you in 2 days at Eid al-Adha. Please stay tuned for more community announcements.
Assalamu alaikum. The community announcements. Please join us every Friday at 1:30 for the virtual khutbah. It is live streamed on Facebook, Masjid WDM, and YouTube, Masjid WDM, and Facebook, Masjid MCC Masjid. Also, live in-person Jummah are available at 1:30 at Masjid Muhammad. Also, we're doing we're asking 100 believers to commit to donating $50 per month, and to do it, follow the QR code. Mercy Community Center, Masjid Al Quran also has in-person Jummah from 1:30, 2:10, and 2:50. Register tiny URL. Also, Mercy Community Center has the Merciful 313. We're asking, we need you to donate after this Ramadan, the select few of 313. Talim public address streamed every Sunday at 1:30 with from our Facebook page, Masjid WDM, and our YouTube page, Masjid WDM, and our Facebook for Masjid Al Quran. Your Zakat and donations are needed. Ways to donate from the website, also Zelle, PayPal, and cashApp. Mercy Community Center, Masjid Al Quran, your Zakat and donations are needed. Ways to donate, www.MercyCCHouston.org/donation. MUSLIMAH Nights, Masjid WDM and Mercy Community Center presents MUSLIMAH Nights. Here's the link to join for the youth. New Muslim orientation happens every Sunday at 3 p.m. Join to join. Just go to tiny.cc/new Muslim class, and is N, the M and the C are uppercase. Sisters Halakha every second and fourth Saturday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. To gain access, email salimahkahbil@gmail.com. Sisters only. Brothers meeting every Saturday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Brothers only. You can register, go to tinyurl.com/WDM Brothers. Fundraising donor wall. The Ibrahim Kamaluddin Community Center. The 99 names. You can still donate. Go to tinyurl.com/MWDM donor wall. That concludes the community announcements. Assalamu alaikum.